Y'all ready to be history?
Get started.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
To the Pro Audio Suite.
These guys are professional. They're motivated.
With Tech to the VO stars. George Whittam, founder of Source Elements. Robert Marshall, international audio engineer. Darren Robbo Robertson. And global voice. Andrew Peters. Thanks to Tribooth. Austrian Audio. Making passion heard. Source Elements. George the Tech Whittam. And Robbo and AP's international demos. To find out more about us, check theproaudiosuite.com.
Line up, ladies!
Here we go.
So, welcome to another Pro Audio Suite.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert.
You forgot the credits. What about the credits?
Yeah, come on.
Welcome, PAP 200, Austrian Audio, and Tribooth. There you go.
Nailed it. Don't try putting PAP 200 into Austrian Audio though, because you won't get anything.
Yeah.
TRI, PAP 200. Yeah,
There you go.
not with Austrian Audio, with Tribooth. But,
Nice
yeah.
try.
So thou hast been busy, art thee.
We.
If only people had been here at the beginning of the show, they might understand what that was all about. But you know,
That's right.
We're not giving away secrets
That's
here.
a long conversation. Yeah, I was doing a little tech support for someone who was using a UA interface with George's wonderful retying of the UA knot, where he takes the aux 1 and 2, sends off the UA mixer, and makes them inputs 1 and 2 for the overall UA interface with respect to any other software.
We gut it. We gut all the wiring and
Yeah, you just
plug everything in different places inside the UA console.
And it's and then he uses the virtuals of UA, the virtual drivers of UA, to return the DAW separately from the Mac.
Right.
And that's great because now you can have playback. You can return the DAW back to 2 channels and send those 2 channels to aux 1 and 2 off the UA mixer, which then basically feeds playback back to your clients. Done.
That's the loopback thing. Everybody's always asking me, can you set up loopback? How can I do a loopback? I need a, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this user was doing podcasts and he wanted to play back his overall desktop audio. So now we have
anything
this,
coming out of the Mac system
correct.
coming out had to go back down the line. And the down the line part was also based on system sound, right? Because it was Chrome.
So the issue here is that, like, you have Chrome, Zoom, etc. It's outputting to the Mac driver, which you use Virtual 3.4, that shows up on the console in 3.4, and then you want to send playback to that. So you route aux 1 and 2 to there, but what's on the Mac? The return of the Google Meet, and there's your loop. And you can't get around it because you say, okay, fine, I'm going to return the Mac output 1 and 2 instead of 3 and 4. You still have the same problem. It returns the problem always is that Zoom, whoever it is coming back the same place that all your other Mac playback is coming to.
Yeah, you can't separate them.
So I said, you're going to need Nexus for this. And all the things that Nexus does, specifically, all he really needed was Nexus Review, which is this standalone app. And when you launch Nexus Review, it has an option to capture the system audio. So what it does is it takes whatever your system audio is, in this case it was UA, and it says, nope, I'm going to send it to this Nexus system audio device. Now it's got it. And it brings that into Nexus Review. And the Nexus Review says, what was your system output? Oh, it was the UA. I'll make my output the UA. So now everything is returning to the UA, but the system is playing back through the system audio Nexus device, and we can blend that into the input of where your TalkBack is also inputting to. So Nexus Review can grab your TalkBack mic, it can grab your system audio, send it to an input, and that input doesn't have your output from the UA in it, and therefore you don't have the loop.
So it's a little mixer, sort of a monitor mixer with a mix minus
built into
it.
Yes. That's exactly right.
Sneaky.
That's pretty cool.
And when you launch the app, it automatically grabs your system audio. And when you quit the app, it sends your system audio back to wherever it was originally going to. So if you're not using it, it undoes what it did. And when you
do you recommend for a lot of folks that once Do you recommend that they auto load it so it's always loading and it's always there, or do you really recommend they load it only when they need it?
Really depends. You could literally set it in the applications, auto boot in your
Open it,
system,
log
your
in.
system setup. You could literally do that. It just depends on because literally you can just have it there and then everything goes through there. And the other nice thing is that then you get a separate fader for your client return, for your talkback, your return to the Mac. And it has a separate input for a broadcast send. So you can have two separate inputs, the Mac capture and a separate output. You could output your DAW to it. It just depends if you want to have it always running. You could certainly just have it automatically launch. I mean, that's what I do. I have a much more massive version of this going on. I don't know if you guys have ever seen my screen, but instead of just having the simple, Nexus Review, which really is just a set of routes, I use Router, and if I share my whole screen, you will notice, wait, out of my way, but you will notice that's my router setup. So there's a lot more going on in there, but this is all
what we're looking at is a bunch of meters. He's got a screen full of meters, and each one of them is representing an input and an output.
And as you talk, you see it bouncing.
Oh, okay, cool.
So this has all my, from the clients to the clients, from the chat to the chat. It's sort of a very big version of the same idea. So there's and with Nexus you get that, so you can also set up this little Nexus Review thing doesn't quite do what I want. I want to go nuts, have fun, go nuts. Here
so
we're
getting further away from needing to have an Apollo to do more complicated routing, playback loops, etc. You could have a Scarlett 2i2 Nexus Review, right? And
the whole thing about the Apollo, I think, more than the routing that it does, is the absolute perfect real-time monitoring. And with plugins, if you want to have that emulation of the Manly, and you want to run it in real time, and you want your input to be cooked into the DAW with that processing baked into it, that's where the Apollo truly, truly shines.
Does Nexus Review support plugins?
Not
in its
yet.
own right?
Not yet.
It's something it might do in the future.
But even if it does, it's native. You're always going to have that tiny...
There's latency.
The latency that the kids don't care about, but all of us do, right? All the kids are used to it. Like the little microscopic latency that just sounds like, is there two of me? I think, I don't know. Like, it's not enough to throw you off musically, but it's just enough to be a slightly weird reverb, or not even that. So it's always going to have that because it's software, and the Apollo is hardware.
Well, tangentially related, but I did notice that there was a change that's just sort of appeared out of the blue on Chrome on my Mac. It used to be that no matter what the output in Chrome was assigned to, for example, when you're in a Google Meet, you can choose what your input and your output is. But it would, no matter what I said it was set to in the Google Meet output, it was using Mac system. I couldn't separate the two from each other.
That's a
all
bug.
of a sudden, now that works.
Really?
It just works now. So for at the long last, when I play something back on a web browser, you guys can hear it on my playback fader.
Because you can output Meet to a different output than your Mac.
Yeah, because I'm using a Rodecaster, but I have the chat channel, which if you were using, for example, if you were using a Passport VO, that would be the comms channel, assigned to our conversation here. And then I have my Mac system sound sent to main, which is really just the output of the Rodecaster, the main mix. And that now allows me to have playback come in on a different set of channels. It's the same concept of this virtual channel stuff we're talking about.
It's that's happening inside the mixer of the Rodecaster.
And really, this is in this issue where Chrome would not be independent from Mac's system sound output channels, would not allow me to play anything back from Mac's system.
But that's so weird because Nexus Gateway could output to a different output than the Mac system audio on Chrome.
Yeah, it was just a Chrome problem.
But no, I'm saying Nexus Gateway on Chrome didn't have that problem. Is this just a Meet problem? Google Meet?
No, it was. I think it was Chrome. I think, well, it could have been Meet because it's the only thing I ever used with it.
Yeah, because
this
Nexus Gateway didn't have that issue. You could pick your speaker output and it would go there.
Well,
that's what Nexus Gateway relies on. It relies on sending the output from Nexus Chat.
It's just finally it's getting better and easier for people to do these separate mixes. And then you've got like those audio mixers now that are like a mind meld between the sound driver and the mixer. So you like, let's say you're doing live streaming and you want to have the output of the game and the output of the Discord chat room where everybody's talking and the playbacks from something else, and those all show up as separate audio inputs
on the,
and it's all happening
on the monitor
level.
application of the
That used to not be possible on Mac, but now apparently it is too. That's changed in the last couple of years. Like you can only do that on Windows for a long time.
Well, Windows gave you a like an audio mixer. So in Windows for many years, you could have 5 applications open, and you would have a volume slider for each application.
You'd have Chrome. You'd have I don't know.
And that was actually, I think that was specifically for the like Windows or Wasapi drivers, not ASIO, for example. But with Mac, if you wanted to change the volume of, say, iTunes, you had to go to iTunes and change the volume. There wasn't just and then that's where was a Rogue Amoeba or one of the companies has like an app that kind of somehow gets into it and
Loopback.
I don't think it's audio. It's Rogue Amoeba, but I don't think it's Loopback. It's one of their other. It's one of their other
thing or any record all or any record. I don't remember the name.
It's one of their apps, and it lets you see all your different apps and have a volume slider for each one, which is very Windows-esque.
So to wrap it all up, I guess I would say that the new Nexus. Say the name of it.
It's again? Nexus Suite. So Nexus used to be just this plugin, and now it's a suite of plugins and desktop software.
And what is the user? If the user wants to recreate what we did or what you did for John, what do they need?
They just need to use Nexus Review, the standalone app. Okay. And when they launch it, they just kind of go into the preferences and turn on the system audio capture. And when they do that, it's done. Like it's going to grab their system audio and it's going to send it to the broadcast. Yeah. And they can click the option to send their talk back to the broadcast because all these apps only have one input. Yeah. And so the only tweak is that instead of whatever it is, Google Meet, Zoom, etc., instead of making your mic the input, you make the Nexus broadcast the input, and that will include playback and your microphone.
Cool. So now you don't need to have a Rodecaster or an Apollo or any of these fancy interfaces. You can just have a really basic interface or even a USB mic. I guess,
and then you can play anything back to your clients, not just. So if you're using, say, Twisted Wave,
I think live streamers will really like that. Then.
Yeah, yep, or Audacity, etc. I do realize you can do Twisted Wave with your. Can you? No. It's still the problem with the general chat rooms.
Got it.
Where you return them. Yep.
Speaking of Twisted Wave, I have a whole other topic. We should spin off into another episode about Twisted Wave because they've released some new features.
Oh, I saw your little update on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's...
What did they do?
Oh, we'll find out next week.
That's
a tease.
Right. Yeah.
It's very professional of us.
The hook.
Well, that was fun. Is it over?
The Pro Audio Suite, with thanks to TriBooth and Austrian Audio. Recorded using Source Connect. Edited by Andrew Peters and mixed by Robbo. Got your own audio issues? Just ask Robbo.com. With tech support from George the Tech Whittam. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and join in the conversation on our Facebook group. To leave a comment, suggest a topic, or just say g'day, drop us a note at our website, proaudiosuite.com.